This is why I like Bill Maher. This is why I have so much respect for Bill Maher. There's an old saying in the Bible, I believe it's one of the Proverbs. Pride comes before the fall. We live in a country that is filled with pride. Hell, you can't walk down the streets of San Francisco without being bombarded with pride flags. They are flowing in the wind right next to the gigantic pile of doodle on the sidewalk. But I'm not talking about the rainbow pride. I'm talking about the sense of pride that's infected the country. The arrogance, the condescension, this false sense of importance, along with a false sense of entitlement. Now, I expect this type of behavior from teenagers, even though I don't tolerate it. What I don't expect is this level of arrogance, this level of condescension from some 46-year-old doofus who thinks he's a big deal because he works at the Washington Post and the Cemetery News Network. I don't know if we will see pride in Josh Rogin going forward, because the great one, Bill Maher, he put him in a child's place Friday night in an absolutely brutal segment on HBO. You know, this is just my personal theory, but I think social media has played a big role in this false sense of pride. Social media has given people the platform to express their opinions to the world, which is great. It's great. But that does not mean you're important. Social media has created this disease where people are desperate for validation. They are desperate for validation that is coming from complete strangers. When you think about it, it doesn't make sense. Why in the hell would I care about the opinion of Richard Small, better known to friends and family as Dick? His follower count resembles the size of his name. Why in the hell would I care about his opinion? Last week, I had some wanker spanker call me delusional because I made a joke about Nick Wright and LeBron James. I joked that LeBron James is a great humanitarian because he made Nick Wright's dream come true. Well, KC, did he take a razor and shave off that ridiculous mullet? No, in order to do that, we're going to need the services of Joy Reid's barber. But with the abundance of balding beauties at MSNBC, Joy Reid's barber is booked through the rest of the year. LeBron performed a Make-A-Wish by acknowledging Nick Wright's existence and giving him a passionate woke hug. I made a joke that LeBron is a great humanitarian because he fulfilled a dream of someone who is underprivileged. Some unemployed dork on Twitter who was supposedly a fan of my show, which means he should have known better. He should have known that I was joking. He briefly took his hands off his wanker to say, "You are so delusional. LeBron's not a humanitarian. You're just some globalist hack who is obsessed with LeBron and the Lakers." I'm delusional. I'm delusional. But you're the one that can't understand obvious sarcasm. These are the people on social media. These are the people that the mainstream media is trying to impress. Now, there's a reason I'm bringing this up. Friday night, Captain Doofus Josh Rogin from CNN, he was a guest on Real Time with Bill Maher. Keyword, real. During the segment on Real Time, Josh Rogin was criticizing Bill Maher for having the audacity to go to the White House to meet with the Trumper. And he said his stance on this issue represented 99% of the internet. Unfortunately for Josh Rogin, Bill Maher was quick to remind him that it doesn't matter what you think, and he added to the humiliation by crushing John's dream by letting him know that the internet is like Santa Claus. It's not real. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. I appreciate all of you guys who have reached out to me this week. I've replied to most of you, but haven't had a chance to get to everyone just yet. I appreciate your reassurance and your kind words. Last week was a tough week on the channel, but things seemed to turn around yesterday. Hell, in terms of performance, yesterday was the best day I've had in weeks. Hopefully, things are starting to improve. Things are starting to turn around. Either way, I will still be here every day, but I appreciate those of you who reached out. And as always, I appreciate all of you for watching me every day. Friday night, Bill Maher had Piers Morgan and the unknown Josh Rogin on his show. Josh Rogin is so unknown, Bill Maher didn't know who the hell he was, and he was a guest on his show. With that being the case, you would think Josh Rogin would appear on this mainstream platform with a certain level of deference, a certain level of respect. I'm assuming that Josh Rogin does not get these opportunities on a regular basis. Sure, I guess he makes appearances on CNN. I guess CNN is considered a mainstream platform, but no one's watching that dump. There is more popcorn in this bag from Whoa Mama Protein than people watching Caitlin Collins. Katie Woo! Katie Woo! Bill Maher and Piers Morgan, they were having a grown man conversation about his meeting with the Trumper. Fun fact, Bill Maher has been a Democratic donor and supporter for decades. To my knowledge, he has never been invited to the White House. Even though they shared names, I would imagine that he wasn't invited by Billy Clinton because Billy was busy getting acquainted with Monica, along with Linda, Tina, Becky, Jill, the potted ficus, the water hose. Hell, if it had an orifice, Billy wanted to get acquainted. And even after donating, I believe it was $1 million to Barry, Bill Maher wasn't invited to the White House by Obama. The first president to extend the invitation was the Trumper. Bill and Piers are having a grown man conversation about his White House visit, and they kept getting interrupted by this prepubescent sounding voice. Initially, Bill Maher thought the squeaky voice was coming from the audience, but then he noticed some nerd sitting at the desk that he had never seen before. "Hey, who are you, kid?" "Hi, Bill, my name is Josh." "It doesn't matter what your name is." As it turns out, Josh, him. He was there to represent CNN and 99% of the internet, of which 99% of that demo makes up 99% of the unemployment number. Josh Rogin interrupted the men to let Bill Maher know, "My Discord group is real mad. My followers on Grindr are upset. My Pinterest followers quit sending me pictures of dandelions and started sending me pictures of you, Bill, in an orange grove. What do you have to say for yourself, mister? Explain yourself to me and dozens of people who don't matter." Josh Rogin pulled the classic beta move. For a second, I didn't know if I was watching Josh Rogin or a Pelicans press conference with Dana Griffin and Willard Green. Josh Rogin opened his lecture by complimenting Bill Maher. "Oh, Billy, you're so great. You're an icon. I love you. Can I hold your hand or have a hug?" After he was done pandering and proving to the men watching that he was weak, Josh Rogin finally got to the point. He started insulting Bill Maher for having the audacity to meet with the Trumper. Now, the insults were subtle. They were not direct, because that's what woke men do. Unfortunately, though, for Josh Rogin, he was not dealing with a woke man. He was dealing with the man. And Bill Maher was quick to let him know that he does not appreciate the verbal ass patting. Watch for yourself.
I think that I represent 99% of the internet when I say this, is that you've played the game of proximity is principle. And what people are worried about is not your motivation. We believe you. We love you, Bill. Say that you went there in good faith, but maybe, just maybe, he wasn't there in good faith. I mean, you sold him on the Iran deal and he took it in. I mean, give me a break, okay? I think a lot of people out there, fans of yours, people who love you, people who are fans of you, like me, I've been fans of you.
You don't have to patronize me, dude.
Okay.
I don't know you. I never met you.
I'm just saying that this comes from
not
a place
everybody
of
has to
love.
like it.
All I'm
That's
saying
what we said. There are people who didn't want it to happen at all. You sound like one of them. It's
No,
okay.
no.
But did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Like, what is the alternative to not talking? Just sit at your lunch table and don't talk to anybody. The fact that you began your little rant with the internet, that tells me everything. You take your cues from the internet. Good luck.
This right here is the difference between a real Democrat and a deacon at Woke United Methodist. I highly doubt that Bill Maher and Donald Trump agree on much politically, but that doesn't mean they can't come together like men and discuss their differences. Woke men, they don't want to do that. Hell, most woke men, they want to be women. But woke men like Josh Rogin, they don't want to talk about political differences. They would rather get on the echo chamber of social media and express their fake outrage with the other men wearing makeup. And if they don't have fake outrage to express, they'll simply create it. The problem is, Democratic leaders, they have allowed their party to become infected with the woke fungus. They've allowed the radical wing, they've allowed the vocal minority to be perceived as the majority. Think about it. When you think of Democrats, do you think of old school Democrats like Bill Maher, Bill Clinton, James Carville? Or do you think of Rachel Levine, AOC LGBT, Jasmine Crockett, Jamel Hill, Star Trek virgin Mike Freeman? The embarrassment got worse for Josh Rogin as the segment progressed. Piers Morgan and Bill Maher, they were talking about the national debt, which, last I checked, the national debt has finally surpassed the number of layups that Angel Reese has missed. Piers Morgan was making the point that all these so-called economic experts who have been running the economy for decades, all these so-called experts criticizing Elon Musk and criticizing the Trumper, they should not be taken seriously because they're part of the reason that the national debt has reached $37 trillion. As Piers and Bill Maher were talking, they were once again interrupted by Josh Rogin, who claimed that I'm here to educate you plebes. Josh Rogin opened his educational lecture by admitting that he was a failed economics student. Bill Maher was quick to remind him of one of his more recent embarrassing failures. Watch for yourself.
But let's not forget that America has $37 trillion in debt. As Elon Musk keeps warning, America could go bust if it's not careful. So this idea that all the experts who've presided over the economy for decades really know what they're talking about, I think is for the birds.
That's a straw man. That's a straw man.
Well, maybe. I'm happy to be a straw man, but the $37 trillion says it's not a straw man.
Well, here's the thing that you don't understand.
Why
President Trump doesn't understand.
Please educate me.
The trade deficit and the budget deficit. I will. It's a very simple. I'm a failed economics student, so bear with me. But the trade deficit and the budget deficit.
And talk show guest.
I know Bill Maher was joking here, but the best jokes are often based in the truth. I highly doubt that Josh Rogin will be receiving another invitation from Bill Maher to appear on his show. But give me your thoughts on this. Some condescending, prideful, elitist doofus from CNN gets absolutely humiliated by Bill Maher. I recommend that you watch the full segment so you can fully understand the level of arrogance of Josh Rogin. Full segment is available on Bill Maher's YouTube channel. I encourage you guys to check it out. But before you go, give me your thoughts on this. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later on the second channel.